That big Hustlin shirt is fantastic. Okay, so is this the blue-eyed Delver player or the Blade player?
We got the Delver player, blue-eyed Delver. I know because he plays different basics than the other Blade player.
So good call. Yeah. Good call.
I'm pumped, and it looks like we got Eldrazi on the other side.
Pretty solid opener, too.
Yeah.
He's got 2 soul lands, one of which is an Ancient Tomb, and then he also has the basic Waste, which is pretty relevant if you're expecting a Blood Moon. Allows you to still cast your Eldrazi, which is nice.
Yeah, and it's likely, I think that the Delver player is going to have a couple copies of Back to Basics in his sideboard as well as, like, Disenchants, and, yeah, that's probably what he wants to bring in. Disenchants, Back to Basics, getting allies into card, maybe.
Yeah, I think there's a Path to Exile in his hand as well, which I believe is a sideboard card.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic card in this spot, too. So we're going to go ahead and see a shuffle off that Ponder.
And Did not find Back to Basics.
Yeah. No early threat from the Delver player, so...
No board hustle in this game.
Yeah, no big hustling.
Soul Land into a Grim Monolith on turn 1 for our Eldrazi Pilot. That sets him up for, I believe, 7 mana next turn.
It's so sick. I mean, it just goes so high so fast. But if the Delver player can answer these threats with cards in hand like Source of Pleasures and Path to Exile, he could be in good shape as long as he has a clock.
Definitely. And just got word from our producer that Cardboard Live has been updated, so if you guys want to use that overlay, please feel free. You can click on the little icons that look like magic cards on either side of the stream and pull up deck lists, and I believe player profiles as well, which is a nice little delight, I will say.
You can read a little bit about, your favorite player that you're watching.
Yeah, you can read about how great Stoneforge Mystic is.
Oh, yeah, and how great Tundra is. Man, Tundra's so good. It's like, kill your creature and counter your spell. Like, what could you want more?
I love how effective Exile effects are in Legacy right now as a creature removal strategy. Just being able to beat Kolaghan's Command is pretty sweet on that axis.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And 7 mana potentially for our Eldrazi Pilot. As that...
Yeah. Spyglass is the draw this turn, and so potentially Spyglass plus... trying to think about some other lines that he could take this turn. It looks like it's just going to be Thought-Knot Seer this turn.
Thought-Knot Seer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the decision here, I want to point out, is there's a decision line he was making between tapping the Wastes and a Grim Monolith or playing his City of Traders this turn and then not tapping the Grim Monolith. Both are kind of like using mana that is limited, like that doesn't come back, that doesn't refresh itself automatically. This land, however, does allow a window to get a Sorcerer Spyglass out, which is immediately going to point at Stoneforge Mystic, but it's not quite picking it. He gets to take a peek first.
Oh, wow. There's sort of Fire and Ice in hand, and also Disenchant as well, so... It's a couple
this hand kind of has everything.
Yeah. But it does look a little clunky and a little slow. I mean, obviously Disenchant costs 2 mana. He can't Disenchant and put Batter Skull or Sword of Fire and Ice into play on the same turn.
Definitely.
And he needs to find another land as well, otherwise he's going to be having some mana problems potentially.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's probably what the early Ponder was for, was to dig through lands. Probably didn't find, and that's why the shuffle occurred.
Yeah. And no Chalice as well. That's an important thing to note for the Eldrazi player. So that Disenchant's going to have free reign over whatever Akihiko, I can say that name, needs to answer.
Definitely. Draw for the turn. Finds it looks like another copy of Waste, so a little bit more land, which, is kind of okay in this hand. Taruya has a Grim Monolith he could untap this turn for 4 mana, and then I think he's almost set up to cast that Ulamog next turn.
Yeah.
Oh, he's at 9 next turn, so not quite. Yeah, you got a Disenchant on the end step.
Yeah, top deck.
Let's see what Akihiko's going to do this turn. Could just activate Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah, especially... Go ahead.
Akihiko could have, on turn 2, instead of deployed the Stoneforge Mystic, could have used that Disenchant to go after the Grim Monolith, which would have kind of stagnated Taruya's hand a little bit, and might have changed how he sequenced his cards. I think tempo is still somewhat important in this matchup, and if you have a window to get ahead, you want to get ahead. There's a really powerful 6-drop coming down. Endbringer, of course, is just a massive beater. It attacks so many angles that, like, if you can go along with that card in play, you're in really good shape. And of
Yeah, it's
course,
really
King's
insane.
Creatures stops blockers and draws cards.
It actually also stops attackers as well, which is ridiculous. So like it basically just like blanks an enemy creature on your opponent's side, and it also draws cards in a deck that really doesn't gain card advantage very well. Predominantly when Eldrazi beats you, they beat you with the quality of their cards.
Definitely.
So in this position, it's going to be a quick path to exile from Akihiko, and just Teruya. I mean, like he's going to try to clear the path and just try to rush down Teruya as fast as possible.
Definitely. And Teruya actually has 3 wastes in his deck, so this is all 3 of the basics in his deck. He's going to be able to cast Ulamog next turn with this Path to Exile, which is so powerful. I think that he should just go after Akihiko's lands. I think that there's a case to be made to attack the Batterskull, but I might just go after the mana here. So you know what? You've been missing land drops. I think you're just done if I do this.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely the correct line here, because there's no way if he attacks the lands, or if he hits Batterskull plus Tundra, then there's no white source to tap for Swords of Plowshares, and he also removes the biggest threat in play. So
Yeah, Teruya is at 5 due to the fact that he's been using the Soul Land pretty aggressively, and so maybe he is a little bit anxious about his life total and should go after the Batterskull. But I kind of just want to stop Akihiko from being able to cast any spell in his deck besides Force of Will.
Yeah, that's certainly a possibility here. But I mean, honestly, there's only 4
Oh,
permanents
interesting.
That's
Whoa.
creatures.
He's going after the board, so he wants to get off the Stoneforge Mystic and the Batterskull, let Akihiko cast cantrips. Interesting.
I mean, if Akihiko draws a land, he could have had True Name Nemesis there, potentially. Although I think that the True Name got pitched to Force of Will, but I mean, that's a card that could be in hand for Akihiko.
Yeah, definitely. There's a case that hitting the 3rd land could deploy this blocker that kind of can stonewall a little bit. I guess you can't really stonewall Ulamog. And you know what? Teruya immediately punished for his decision. Swords to Plowshares, casted off the Tundra. Gonna put Teruya back to 15, but like, is that worth not having an Ulamog?
Yeah, it's like their primary threat is gone, and I don't know exactly how many Ulamogs the Eldrazi player is playing, but there's a limited number. It's not infinite. It's not 4 for sure.
And Akihiko hits a land here, but it's a wasteland. It's a colorless mana source, so.
Yeah. Looks like he just played Jite there? Interesting. So Swords plus Jite is a sequence for Akihiko. Yeah, it looks like there's only one Ulamog off the top. So just a limited number of big time threats for Teruya.
Chalice the Void coming down, going to stop any future Swords of Plowshares or Path to Exile activations. We do have another threat here coming out. It is a Reality Smasher that we didn't even see turn sideways. It just flashed for me from normal position to exhausted.
And that's how it goes. I mean, a lot of times, Reality Smasher and just play tapped and attacking. I've only rarely seen it block, and that's usually when your opponent has Green Anglers in play.
Yeah, definitely. Or your opponent is attacking you with Reality Smashers.
Exactly. And sort of
Here's a wasteland.
That is painful.
Yeah, and so Akihiko had access to 3 mana that turn and did not deploy a True Name Nemesis, so that tells me if I was in Teruya's seat that I'm in way better shape than I last thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back-to-back equipment when you don't have any creatures is like not everywhere you want to be, even in an aggro deck, and so a control deck doing that is just like the nightmare scenario almost.
Yeah, I think Akihiko's best top deck here is Delver's Secrets, and he really needs to find it early. I don't even know if it races in time.
Yeah, so here's a Force of Will on the Eldrazi Mimic. Get that off the board.
But really a tenuous position if you're Akihiko. You're just not.
Yeah, I think he might just be dead here. I mean, he is Hellbent with 2 cards in hand, I believe. And here's an Endless one for 3.
And it's just big enough. That Grim Monolith was not like super active this game, but it really just accelerated Teruya into a winning position where he could get enough advantage.
Definitely. Not enough bread to hustle this game.